Hey guys, it's Keegan, and this video is the third in a 5 video series that I'm doing about your inner child. And I might add more videos onto this series. I've had a couple of requests for specific things, and if you have specific requests that you want me to do, please make sure to leave those in the comments below. If you haven't yet seen the first 2 videos, I'll include links to them in the description box below. You don't have to watch these in any particular order, but each video is focused on a specific individual need of your inner child. I actually pulled all of the cards for each of these 5 readings all at once after taking time to really meditate and set the intention that I would be able to connect with the inner child of those who would eventually watch these videos. I know that a lot of you like to see proof that the cards were randomly selected. So as I'm talking about this reading, I'm going to show the selection of the cards used in this particular reading sped up so it only takes about 30 seconds of time. At the end of each of these videos, I will include a link to the playlist, which contains all the videos in this series, so you can easily find and watch them. And like I mentioned, I'm happy to focus on other things that your inner child needs from you, or even do multiple rounds of investigation about these 5 particular themes. It's really up to you what I'm going to focus on in terms of the content. So if you like these videos and you want me to do more, be sure to let me know. For this particular video, I wanted to focus on what your inner child shares about what's making them feel unsafe and what they need in order to begin to feel safe with you. I'll read these from left to right as the cards are grouped. Let's go ahead and dive in and see what messages have come through for you. Your inner child feels very betrayed. They also feel like they are carrying secrets that they want to share but are too afraid to open up about. I sense a few things coming through energetically which feel like loss or abandonment. But there's an underlying energy attached to that which is definitely about being deceived in some way. As always with general readings, the details about the exact things is very varied. There are lots of different specifics that come through if I try to get too detailed in a general reading. But I do like to try to give some examples of the type of energy I'm sensing. So let me give you some actual situations. Keep in mind that these don't have to pertain to you in terms of the exact details. This is more about trying to help you understand how a child would react to specific situations to help you understand the energy that's coming through for me. One example I'm being shown is a child secretly catching one parent having an affair and then being told that the reason that parent left or that a divorce was happening was for some other reason. To the child, they would not be sure if the other reason was valid and the affair was something that was unknown, or if they were just being lied to in order to try to cover up the affair or prevent them from knowing. Another example could be a child finding out somehow that the person they thought was their parent was actually not. So maybe their father was actually someone else, or they found out that the person they thought was their sibling was actually their parent. Again, these don't have to be exact experiences in your own life, but they do illustrate well the type of situations that I'm sensing energetically. There's a lot of secrecy that feels like it's known by the child, but not by others around the child. And the way that it was dealt with feels very much like deception. The star card here is really the card that speaks to what's needed in order to feel safe. When this card comes out, it generally speaks to that space following turmoil in our life when we start to feel our hope return and we begin to feel like we've found peace and stability. This is something that your inner child really never received. Even if you as an adult have worked to strengthen your faith, your trust in the universe, and connect to your purpose in life, you only really accomplished that because you grew up and realized that it was necessary. You had experiences that allowed you to understand things on a different level. But for your inner child, they are still stuck in the bubble of keeping secrets and trying to determine who they can trust and who is lying or deceiving them in some way. It isn't necessary that you take your inner child through a dark night of the soul level spiritual journey. It can really be as simple as listening to them and acknowledging their pain while helping them understand that any secret they have, any pain they have, you share with them. And if you are in a solid, healed place, then you can actually share that with them as well. But if you aren't in a place where you've really healed a lot of your past pain and trauma, then your responsibility here is really about beginning that process of healing yourself first. Your inner child is really suspicious about adults. So you're going to have to figure out how to show them that you're trustworthy. The Seven of Wands is a little tricky to translate in terms of talking about an inner child. Traditionally, this card means that you've achieved a certain level of success, and now you're dealing with competition from others who want to either bring you down or take your place. But if we remove the notion of having worked for a long time to become a leader or an expert, we're left with the energy of feeling like you have to fight to ensure that you retain the space in which you feel you deserve to be. Obviously, this needed some clarification, and three cards came out, which together tell a pretty specific story. We have the Ten of Pentacles, which is reversed, energy here of instability of the family unit, the Eight of Cups upright, which is about moving on, leaving something behind, and then the Three of Swords reversed, which indicates a negative sense of self, being self-critical, telling yourself that you're not good enough or lovable enough. This card also points to something similar to the Star card from earlier, which is about finding your way through a painful experience and reaching a point on the other side where you're able to begin to move forward. So if we look at this and merge all of that into a request, then your inner child seems to be stuck in an energy of feeling like they were left, that their family was ripped apart, and perhaps a sense that other kids were chosen over them. And the way that a child mind would process that sort of experience could easily lead them to feeling like they were the cause of what happened. There's something really interesting being shown to me here. Your inner child is aware of you, and they do sense you in a way as a parental figure of sorts, but they don't really feel like you pay much attention to them. And when you, as an adult, have tried to form connections, specifically romantic ones, your inner child knows how to trigger you to have doubts and to begin to be suspicious or reluctant to continue forward. You haven't really questioned where that energy comes from inside of you. I think maybe you've labeled it as your intuition, but it isn't. It's the fear of a lonely, neglected child who feels like they will be abandoned. That is what is actually whispering in your ear, causing you to not be able to form the connections you want in your adult life. Your inner child wants, in a way, to keep you to themselves, because in their child mind, you already don't acknowledge them very much, other than when they manage to trigger you. So, not addressing this fear that exists within them and makes them feel unsafe is actually causing issues for you, the adult. Explaining to your inner child that you will always have a connection to them, that they can always communicate their needs to you, and that there's a healthier way of communicating. Letting them know that you will never pick another child over them because they are the only inner child you have. That's what's really needed here in order to make them feel safe. They feel unsafe because they perceive anyone else that you make an attempt to bond with is, in a way, a threat to this tenuous connection that they have with you. These last three cards actually make me feel a little sad. Each of these cards, in their own specific way, speaks to a desire to grow and change and move forward, but finding that you are unable to do so for various reasons. This energy has emerged a lot in the readings that I've done about the inner child so far. This sense of desperately wanting to find a way to grow up, to chase after the dreams they have, but being trapped in the energy of a scared, lonely child. And that is a terrifying place to exist, especially when there isn't an understanding on the part of the inner child that all they really need to do is be a happy kid. They need to understand that they have, in fact, already grown up, that they represent a period of time in your life, but they don't need to be stuck there. In order to feel safe, they need to understand that the things they are being inspired to do, whatever the child version of you would find interesting and exciting, is really what they should spend their time doing. But they can't pursue that experience of a happy childhood without you being there to serve as the parent, giving them encouragement and permission, and also taking control of life and providing stability and safety for them. One theme that is also persistent in these readings so far is that if you, the adult, have not yet done the work needed to heal yourself and to take responsibility fully for your own life, then you can't actually do much work with your inner child. In order to do that, you have to be able to reparent them, to earn their trust and keep them happy and safe. But you have to be able to do all of those things for yourself first. So, to summarize the energy here in this last group of cards, your inner child is bright and curious and is longing to explore their inspiration, but they can't actually do that on their own. They need you. And sometimes thinking of that version of us, that younger child version of us, gives us the motivation and strength we need in order to do the work we need to do on ourselves. That brings us to the end of this third video. And I just want to say a huge thank you to those of you who have already watched and commented on the previous videos. If you know anyone who might find these videos interesting or useful, please share them and take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It helps more than you understand when videos are engaged with to boost them so that other people are given the opportunity to see the thumbnail and click through to receive these messages. I did have a few requests. One specific request was to make a video that is about the ways that you can actually reparent your inner child, and I think that would be a nice addition to this series at some point in the future. Any video I create that is specific to inner child work will be shared in the playlist you see on your screen now. That playlist is also linked in the description box of this video. I'll see you guys again soon with a new reading, and I'm sending you lots of healing, empowering energy. I love you guys. Bye.